What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Houston Real Estate Vibes. My name is Chris Cohen, and I'm a realtor here in the Houston market. Today's video is going to be for first-time home buyers, or maybe for those buyers who haven't bought a home in a while. I'm going to give you some helpful information, some insight that you may not have heard before. With no further ado, let's just jump right into it. Okay, so as a first-time home buyer, you may have heard of money that you might need as down payment or closing costs. But what's not so intuitive is that not all closing costs are going to be paid at closing. I know, that one's a little bit of a brain teaser, huh? Okay, so let's just jump into this. You have already spoken with a lender. You have your pre-approval letter. We've already spoken. We're set to go. For today's example, we're going to use a resale home. So a home that is listed on the market. There's a homeowner in it. New construction processes can vary a bit off this. They're actually going to be pretty similar, but they can vary. So for this example, we'll just go with a resale home. Okay, so we go out shopping. We found the home of your dreams and we want to write an offer. We're going to go ahead and complete that offer. I'm going to send it to you for signature. We're going to send that with your pre-approval letter to the seller. Wonderful. Now, here comes the questions. What's going to go into that offer? Obviously, you already know you're going to be putting your contract amount, like how much you're offering for the home. But let's talk about what's going to happen over the next 72 hours. And that's where earnest money and option money are going to get paid. What's earnest money? Great question. Okay, earnest money is kind of a good faith down payment, right? This lets the seller know that you are serious about purchasing their home. You're putting a little bit of skin in the game and letting them know and signifying to them that you are very excited about purchasing their home. Now, how much is this going to be? That is going to vary depending on the market that we're in, depending on the competition on the home, and depending on you. So it is always negotiable. And that's what I always love to leave with clients. Now, I will give you the 1% as an example. I don't like using the word standard. I don't like typical. It's just an example. I have often seen 1% of the home amount as earnest money. Doesn't have to be, but it can. Okay, now let's go into option period. What is an option period? You may have heard the term due diligence. Okay, well, that's what your option money is going to pay for. It is a period of time for you to have the home inspected, for you to have specialists come out and look at the home. And this option fee protects your earnest money. So let's just say you get a home inspection and the home inspector is like, man, this house is about to fall down. Great. We don't want to purchase it. Wonderful. We can get your earnest money back because we're still inside of that option period. How long is option period? Well, once again, everything's negotiable. This is where we're going to put it in the offer. And you and the seller are going to go back and forth until we figure out how long that period is going to be. Again, I don't like standard. I don't like typical. Some things I have seen are 7 days, 10 days. Can it be shorter? Of course it can. Can it be longer? Of course it can. These are just things that I have seen often. Okay, so now we've talked about both earnest money and option money. So how does this all play out? So we went out, we toured homes, we found the home of your dreams, we sat down, we wrote out that offer where we included what you're going to put down as earnest and what you're going to put down as option. We sent that over to the sellers. We probably had a few conversations back and forth to where you and the sellers finally met and agreed on the terms. Once that happens and everybody signs the contract, we now have 72 hours to deliver both the earnest and the option money. So this is why not all closing costs, not all costs are going to be due at closing. It's not all going to take place when you're at the closing table and getting keys. Some fees are going to be paid earlier. Now, here's the beautiful thing. That earnest money that you put down, that quote unquote, possibly 1% more or less, that's going to count as a credit at the closing table. So that's not a fee. You don't lose that money. The option period is a fee and it purchases you something, time. The earnest money is a deposit. It is a down payment. It will be counted at closing as a credit in your favor. Okay, so now that I've jibber jabbered about both earnest money, option period, and what that's for, we're going to talk about home inspection and how mission critical this is. I absolutely strongly recommend you getting a home inspection. What a home inspector is going to do is during that option period, they're going to come out to the home, they're going to look it up and down, they're going to look at all the different systems, and then typically within 24 hours, you're going to get a home inspection report. Now, if we're lucky, sometimes if they come out early enough in the morning on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever morning, hopefully we can get it that evening. But I like to give them generally about 24 hours. It's a safe bet that you'll have it by the morning the next day. Okay, once you have that report in hand or in your email, you're going to look that over. You and me are going to chat about it. I like to explain this as, think of a home inspector as a general practitioner doctor, right? They're going to come to the home and they're going to look it over, just like if you went to your regular doctor. Now, if there is a specific issue or something that's deficient, just like if you had, say, like a shattered ankle bone, your doctor might recommend you to a specialist that deals specifically with that part of the body. Your home inspection agent is going to recommend you directly to an electrician, a plumber, a roofer, etc. Okay, this is another cost that you're going to pay for upfront in this process. So when you hire that home inspection company, you will be paying for them once they've delivered that report. That is just another thing where closing costs are not all paid at closing. These are costs that you're going to pay upfront and for you to be aware of as a first-time home buyer. Okay, so now we've talked about earnest money, we've talked about option money, we've talked about the option period, as well as home inspection. This brings us to appraisal. So the lender is going to require that an appraisal be done. An appraiser is an independent third party, and they're going to submit an evaluation of the property, which lets the lender know, separate from the sellers, from the buyers, what this home is worth. Okay, with that, this can either be paid it really is going to depend. If it's a really busy market, we're probably going to want to get this ordered. Your lender's definitely going to want to get this ordered fast and in a hurry. So in a busy market, this is probably going to be within the first 3, 4, 5 days of going under contract. In a slower market, we might get away with getting through option period before they have to order that. This again is one of those upfront fees. So this is something that you just need to be aware of as we're going into this process. Okay, so now we have talked about earnest money, and option period, home inspection, appraisal. I have 2 more things that I want to talk about before wrapping up this video. And that's, first of those is going to be the purpose and why I recommend everyone getting a survey, a new survey done. So a survey is going to be a survey of the property itself. It is going to show you the boundaries of your property. Why I recommend this is, I'll give you an example. Back in 2017, we had a huge hurricane, Hurricane Harvey. That hurricane knocked down a lot of fences. We had some flooding and fences came down. Okay, well, companies were brought in to put those fences back up and fix things. The question is did they do it accurately, right? And this is the purpose of getting a new survey. The surveyor is going to go out there and he's going to make sure everything lines up the way it's supposed to. So, that we don't wind up in a situation where you buy a home and your fence is a foot into your neighbor's yard, or even worse, a foot into your yard and your neighbor's getting the bonus out of it, depending how you look at that. So that's why I always recommend to my clients to get a new survey. And again, this is something that can be negotiated between the buyer and the seller who's going to pay for it. The surveyor is going to typically be paid again at closing. So this is one of those things that's not necessarily an upfront during transaction cost. This is what I would call a true closing cost because it'll happen on closing day. Okay, let's wrap up with this last one, and it's everyone's favorite subject, HOAs. And now, how does this come into play when we are purchasing a home, when you're buying or selling a home? So HOAs typically are going to require, and maybe there's one out there that doesn't. I always like to leave myself for an out so I don't get comments saying, hey, Chris, this HOA doesn't charge anything. Or in my experience, HOAs love to charge. They just love to charge. and you're going to have what's called a transfer fee. So this is basically, homeowner A owns the property today. He's selling it to future homeowner B. And in the HOA system, that stuff has to get transferred over from person A to person B. They charge a fee for these services. Okay, that's kind of a general description of it, so don't quote me on it. There's a lot more that goes into it. I'm sure the HOA members or the HOA companies are rallying if they're watching this. There is a lot more, and I do actually believe in the purpose of HOAs when they are well managed and properly done. Okay, so that kind of wraps up this video. I want to thank you for coming to my channel. I want to thank you for watching this video. I want to tell you that I would love to hear from you. I would love to help you with your real estate journey, whether that be buying or selling a home. If you have more questions, you can reach me at 832-449-9786, or you can send me an email to chris.cohen@compass.com, chris.cohen@compass.com. All right. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon.